Hello, and welcome to Inside the Video Store. Another episode, and it's an episode where I have calluses on my hands. I'm not used to calluses. I don't do any physical labor because I haven't done a day's work in my life, quite clearly. Even picking up my cup of coffee is a challenge, and it's fraught with pain and agony. I shall cope. I shall cope and survive. Yes, it's been a week of manual labor at Snips Movies as the new horror section takes shape quite spectacularly. I'd say we're about halfway there, which is crazy considering I started it only 2 weeks ago, just under about 10 days ago. So it's taking far less time than I anticipated, but then I have gone full-on complete obsession over it. I'll show you a little video at the moment to see in a minute to see where things are. But it's good. It's good. I wanted to show you my detailed schematics. Obviously, my blueprints are very, very detailed. They've been drawn by, well, surely the most established and esteemed architects known to man. And these are they. Such detailed and, well, architecture could have been my forte, to be honest. But, I chose to pick the vocation of being a counter jockey in a video store. But architecture, I mean, those plans, holy cow. That's it. No, it's going well. It's going well. Like I say, you'll see in the video in a second, 7 fixtures have been built. There's 13 in total, so there's 6 more to do, so over halfway. I've actually exhausted my local timber merchant for 5x1, which is the size of wood I use. So they have to go and get more in for me. That's fine because I'm finished for this week because the side hustle has got a busy weekend coming up, so I can't actually do anything for the next 4 days in the horror section. So today was my last day, and thankfully I've got to the level that I wanted to get to, so I'm really, really happy about that. In terms of next week, crack on, build the final 6 fixtures, hopefully by this time next week. Then it will be a paint job, which is a lot of painting, a lot of fixtures. And yeah, and then the week after that, it will be a case of moving everything in, organizing, doing the layout, working out where everything is going to go, and the proportions and what area gets what amount of space, how much is devoted to mainstream horror, how much is devoted to British horror, hammer horror, slasher classics. Maybe trauma might go in there as well, possibly. It would bring it down to a better level and maybe give it a little bit more attention. I don't know. I'm thinking about what will go in there and what won't go in there. Tricky because it is the epic, the most complete horror section I could ever wish for. But there will always be horror titles you couldn't put in there because say for example, John Carpenter has his own director's section, so there won't be any John Carpenter films in there, which is weird, but he fits in the director's collection because that's his place, and everyone knows he's there. So it'd be wrong to move him. Little things like the Arrow video section, for example, that's going to stay roughly where it is. Going to expand a little bit, but stuff from there, like the folky films and the the Poe horrors that Corman did and things like that, they can't really get in there. So there's going to be elements of horror that inevitably have to stay on the main shop floor as you walk in. But we'll put in what we can into the horror section. The main thing is I don't want people to walk in and see just bookended films, rows and rows of bookended films. It might get that way in 5 years' time, but I would like as many films face on as possible, as I think that would have a better impact and it would improve the browsing experience. So yeah, that's my plan. That's my plan, but we'll see. The layout is still, 10 days away. And all focus must be on getting the fixtures built. But to do 7 this week is pleasing. I've been at the timber merchant at 8 a.m. the past 3 mornings. which I really enjoy doing because I'm such a morning person. Uh, but you've got to be done. I hate dwelling on stuff. I hate having jobs half done. Once I start something, I tend to obsess over it. I'm watching films. I was watching one of the Vinegar Syndrome releases last night, and all I could think about was wood. I'm putting in a certain position. Anyway, let's play this video because it might just shut me up. And a few of you strange people, wanted to know what goes in to building one of these. It's easy. Anyone can do it, but I'm going to show you how. So we'll run the VT. We'll have a look how one of these is made, and we'll show you where things are as things stand today. Welcome to the new horror section. So here I am. We're doing fixture number 1 today. We're going to need 13 of these bad boys all together. Did I just say bad boys? Yes, I did. To me, this is going to work like a big jigsaw. Everyone has been designed to kind of lock into each other, and this is part of the foundation, really. This will go in position 1, and we'll lock in 1 against this batten and 2 against the skirting boards. That will be the foundation stone. Number 2 next door to it will lock into number 1. Number 3 will then lock into number 2 and lock into the door frame into the staff room. So these 3 fixtures are very much the center point of the whole thing. From those 3 fixtures, every fixture elsewhere and above this will lock in. Thus, hopefully, the plan is to make a very solid square of fixtures. So this is the one that must be right. A few of you have asked me how I build these. Look, I'm an idiot. I have no carpentry skills whatsoever. It's not something that I was ever born with. My dad was the carpenter. And it's more luck than good judgment. And, if you're sat at home and you're thinking to yourself, I'd love for some, really custom-made fixtures, really tight shelving that just fits the physical media, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. It's easy. Let's talk about cost. 5-meter strip of this is your standard, bog standard wood. 5-meter strip of this is £15. So this unit, this 9-shelf unit, is costing me £42 in raw materials. I don't think that's a bad price, considering if you bought anything elsewhere, be it IKEA, Amazon, whatever, it would cost you in the vicinity of double that, I would say. Plus, you got the flexibility that you can do whatever you want. You can size the shelves whatever you want. You can paint it whatever color you want. And it's just easier. So that's what I'm doing. So I cut everything in the wood yard. I cut everything where I buy it from, because it saves on mess, and all it means is a little bit of social anxiety where you get a gang of tradies, normally within the vicinity, staring at you thinking, what are you doing? In fact, funny story, the last shelf I built, I went in to pay for the wood into the warehouse, and the guy said, you know what? I've been doing this job for 30 years. I've never seen anyone cut a piece of wood like you do. I've never seen anyone cut a piece of wood like you do. I don't think that's a positive thing. Anyway, but yeah, it's all luck than good judgment. So I cut everything to measure. If you just tape measure is your key tool. Measure everything 5, 6, 7 times. Count in. One of my classic mistakes is only measuring each unit to the shelf. Well, of course, the shelf is that length, but you have 2 sides. So you've got to measure in the sides as well. So it's little things like that. Get a kid's ruler. Rob a child from a nearby school and take their shatterproof ruler. What I did with mine, I cut it to the size, to the depth that I want each shelf. So all I simply do is for every shelf that I put my ruler down like that, and then literally the next shelf fits to the ruler. There we go. Check the other side. Yeah, perfect. So that's the right height. That's the right depth. So all I then do, get my screws. I use plasterboard screws. Again, it's one of those things that any DIY enthusiast will laugh and mock me for, but they work best for me. They're a tighter screw. It sounds problematic, but it's not. It is just a better screw, tighter grip, easier to use. 2 of these in the side, 2 of these in the side, 4 screws per shelf, and that's it. And then just keep on going down and down and down and down. And that's it. That is it. It is the easiest thing in the world, especially once you've ratcheted up a couple. You make mistakes. You'll make mistakes. You'll maybe do one wonky. You'll split a piece of wood. You'll do a few things that you think, oh, why did I do that? But once you get a couple under your belt, it's easy. And it's the right size, and it can fit a gargantuan amount of films. The only downside is I need to build 13 of these. So I'm going to crack on with number 1 and see how many we can get in this week. What a difference a day makes. What a difference a day makes. Really good progress made. Really good progress made on this room. We have 6 fixtures built here. Obviously the 3 side by side and the 3 little units on top. And then this one, number 7, done just now. All perfect, just the way I anticipated. Shelf width is ideal. Uniform, which is really, really important. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Dave, you're a little bit short on top. No, we have 2 units to go in either side, facing each other. 1 unit there and 1 unit there to cross both doors. They will need a plinth to rest on, and that is the 12 centimeter gap to utilize for that plinth. So this fixture, 2 shelf fixture, will go across and rest on the new fixture here. Similarly, it will rest on that fixture there and go across the top. We'll try to utilize every bit of space, and we can only do that by being as clever as possible with every inch of space. So there's 6 fixtures left to build. 1, 2, 3 across the opposite wall. They're going to be 8 shelves deep. They're going to store VHS, so they will need to tweak the template because, of course, VHS are a little bit larger, a little bit taller than DVD. Where everything will go, I do not know. At the moment, obviously, this is the centerpiece. This is the big wall. So mainstream horror will feature there, starting at A in the top corner, right down to Z. Or I might well stretch it around and a right angle over to here, because then it will really have room to breathe. So I don't know. We will see. Either way, it's a decision to be made in 10 days' time, not right now. Right now is about building, and it's nearly there. I've got to take a 3-day break because of the old side hustle. And we'll get back to this on first thing Monday morning. We'll build 2 fixtures per day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And hopefully by this time next week, this room will be absolutely kitted out, wall to wall with shelving. The painting comes next, all in black, just to accentuate each of the covers. And we're done. But so far, I couldn't be happier, considering this job really, in earnest, only started last Monday. We're 10 days in, and we can see the finish line. It is remarkable. Really, really happy. And yeah, I will keep you updated. There we go. What do you think? Let me know what you think. Is it like you imagined it would be? Is it better than you imagined or worse than you imagined? Would you have done anything differently? I'd like to know your feedback, honest feedback. Give me honest feedback and let me know what you think. I love the height of that main wall. You know, it's 11 shelves containing, I think I can max out 150, 160 films per shelf. So you're looking at 2,000 units, 2,000 films could possibly fit on that main feature wall, which is mega. I mean, that is the ultimate horror section. I'm so excited to get it all finished and up and running and mainly get people in there. So yeah, it's going really, really well. Still don't know about the name. Thank you for all your suggestions. I'll read some out in a bit. Still don't know what we're going to call him, but we shall see. Got a little bit of tweaking to do out here because this full moon section jets out a bit, and I could do with taking 6 inches off that just to push it out, just to open up the path into the horror section. But you know, we shall see. We shall see. Oh, just in regard to that 11th shelf feature wall, I am going to have obviously some steps that people can use to get up to that top shelf, because that is one of the crazy things. Inevitably, when you have a small shop like this is, getting right up to the gods like Brazil and Bulgaria and Chile and China in world cinema can be a bit of a challenge. So I'm going to have some steps in there for people to use. And of course, seating, which I must order in the next week or so, because that will be great and people can relax in there. Anyway, let's crack on because we've waffled on enough as it is. But then again, there's not much to talk about in terms of new releases. Not much to talk about at all. There's only 2 contemporary releases this week, which is kind of good, to be honest, because last week was nutty. And last week's films haven't had time to breathe yet. You know, The Monkey and Bridget Jones and The Alto Nights and things like that. They've only been out once or twice in that period of time. So I could have done with a week like this, and I'm quite happy to see it. Nevertheless, let's have a look what came in. The key film, I think, is this Iranian film, described as a blistering, propulsive thriller. It sounds fantastic, to be honest. And a political thriller. It was shot entirely in secret. Nominated for the Palme d'Or at Cannes, and it won the Special Jury Prize. Available on DVD and Blu-ray. I just ordered the Blu-ray, to be honest. It clocks in just under 3 hours. It's quite an intense film, but nevertheless, it should be very, very good viewing indeed. The only other contemporary film was this, Fear Below. Indie horror set in 1940s Australia. They've dumbed it down on the cover by saying it's gangsters versus bull sharks. I said bull sharks in the Australian outback. That kind of dumbs it down. I think it's a bit more, not highbrow, but not as exploitative as that. But that is Fear Below. Only came out on a DVD, and there is the DVD. In terms of boutiques, there were just 5 boutique releases this week. First up from Arrow Video, classic film, Joseph Sargent's The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Came out on both 4K UHD and on Blu-ray. I just picked up the Blu-ray of this one, as of course Arrow don't tend to do the dual format releases. Plenty of special features on that, including a new commentary by Steve Mitchell and Nathaniel Thompson, as well as Pat Healy did a commentary on here as well. Very cool. Love that film, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. That's in on Blu-ray. Upside. What are they playing at Curzon Films? Upside Down Spines. Oh, that's gonna freak me out. Anyway, it's a triple header. It's a triple header from Lars Vontria. Obviously, Curzon did put out the Lars Vontria box set, which is great, but I like to buy them individually. So whether you like him or not, Lars von Trier is a director whose films rent out quite a lot here. So I thought, well, it's a perfect opportunity, especially on a quiet week, to upgrade these 3 films onto Blu-ray. So all of these I done on DVD, all of which I thought, well, yeah, a lot of them are on first-generation DVD, so I thought they would be perfect for an upgrade. We have Dancer in the Dark, made it to Blu-ray with a lovely Braille inscription above the title. That's Dancer in the Dark. The Idiots made it to Blu-ray, which I kind of love that slip, to be honest. Yeah, it is pretty great. One of the Dogma 95 films. That's the Idiots on Blu-ray. Dogville made it to Blu-ray. Of course, Dogville was the film in which one of my customers brought it back and said that they will refuse to watch any other Lars von Trier film from here on in. This was the film that broke them. So that is Dogville on Blu-ray. And finally, joining the Criterion collection on both 4K UHD and on Blu-ray as well, and a creased booklet, is Umbrellas of Cherbourg. film by Jacques Demy, with a music by Michel Legrand. So that's a great release, isn't it, from 1964, Catherine Deneuve. Wonderful. Criterion, Umbrellas of Cherbourg. So that is this week's new releases. A small snack, but one I'm quite grateful of, to be honest, after the insanity of last week. In terms of what's been going out, another, eclectic week. I think, what did we get to? I think on mid-Saturday afternoon, I had 10 rental cases left. I was quite worried and that I was going to run out. 10 rental cases left, which means that I had somewhere in the region of 400 films out in circulation, which is cool. That's never been higher in 30 years. So I'm really pleased about that. People were taking their usual eclectic mix of films. I've just recently moved Phantom of Paradise from the Arrow Video section into the Brian De Palma section, because Brian De Palma is one of my most rented directors. And it just seemed like a sensible thing to do, and it's renting now more than ever. And everyone that watches it is really smitten by it. I love it to bits. And I'm not a steelbook person, but that is a very nice steelbook. That is Phantom of the Paradise. One customer asked me at the weekend, what is mumblecore? Because I have a mumblecore section that I set up about 15 years ago and have since forgotten it exists because it gets that much attention. I love mumblecore. I certainly loved it when it came out, with some really cool filmmakers making some very understated and low-key films that just suited my sensibility. This is one of the best. It is In Search of a Midnight Kiss. I don't know why I put it in mumblecore. It might not be the epitome of that genre, but I think it fits well there, to be honest. But I love this film to bits. If you're looking for a really nice film to watch on New Year's Eve, a little bit early, admittedly, then I must admit that this film is great. No connection to Tony the Tiger. But yeah, In Search of a Midnight Kiss. Great to see this going out on loan. It hasn't been out for quite a number of years, but that's brilliant. One of my customers, Ben, has just discovered Albert Brooks, or the genius of Albert Brooks. He rented Broadcast News the other week and completely spellbound by Albert Brooks. And he has a spellbinding presence on screen. I think he's a fantastic actor, but he's a great writer and director as well. So his next step seemed to be the sensible option of taking both Modern Romance and Lost in America out on loan, which was great to see. Always good to see some Albert Brooks heading out the door. Still some things were missing, isn't there? Mother, I don't think has come out on any UK-friendly format yet. I don't think. Customer asked me for House of the Devil, the Second Sight release. Second Sight have just put it out on Blu-ray. I guess they've done another restoration, which is cool, but it already exists on a Blu-ray, and I didn't really see any reason to upgrade it. It's not Ty West's most hotly pursued film here. So I figured, well, I'm going to stick with this. So I have. And they were happy to rent it regardless. But, some upgrades just don't quite convince you to buy them. Because sometimes the one you've got is absolutely good enough. So yeah, I kept on with that. House of the Devil edition, which is a great edition, to be honest. You've got a commentary with Ty West, 2 commentaries with Ty West, and a documentary as well. So, sometimes you just got to say stop and spend your money elsewhere. As always, Gregor Arca. I should do a tracker. I should a data tracker of the most rented filmmakers. It would be really interesting to see. At the moment, I would say the most rented filmmakers are Brian De Palma, Martin Scorsese, Akira Kurosawa. Yeah, they would be the 3, but not far behind is Gregor Arki, and another film of his rented out this week, which is Mysterious Skin, which is just a masterpiece, isn't it? There's no other word for it. So it's cool that someone is discovering this film for the first time. Amazing, amazing. And another director who is probably, um, yeah, probably one of the most rented directors here is John Waters, which is amazing. When you think it was saying to the person, it was a customer that rented their first John Waters film. They rented Polyester. I don't think they had ever seen a John Waters film before, and of course they were spellbound by it. Life-changing moment. So they rented it, returned it, and came back in and said, "I need another John Waters film." Female Trouble. But it's wonderful that 50 years after this film was made, there are people, young people, this person, early 20s, coming in and saying, "This is amazing." And that is one of the best parts of the job, people discovering filmmakers like John Waters and saying that they're changing, he's changing my life, which is mega, so good to see. Another film, a film that keeps on going out and out and out is Star 80. I mean, I got this on the Warner Archive collection last year. And away from the new releases, this must be one of the biggest renting back catalogue releases I've had in quite some time. Easily into double-figure rentals now, and that's pretty much amazing, really. But it's great to see that is Star 80 really doing the numbers. And finally, with the rentals, I had a new customer in yesterday, and they're after Pacific Heights. And bizarre, I think I've mentioned this before. Inevitably, there will be some repetition over the course of 64 episodes. But again, it's one of those films, Pacific Heights, that has just had no physical release in this country, I don't think, since the days of VHS. And it is a bemusing one I don't really understand. But still, there it is. A shame. But these things happen, I guess. But yeah, Pacific Heights renting on DVD to a new customer, which is good. They discovered the store on TikTok. Who'd have thought it? Who'd have thought it? So many customers discovering the store on TikTok. The way that algorithm is twisted into feeding into local people is brilliant. So yeah, can't complain about that. Right, they're the rentals. Cool. Hey, we're cooking on gas here. We've got two lots of What's in the Box. The first What's in the Box, because it was a slightly reduced outlay this week on new films, I thought I'd pick up some Criterions that missed out on, and Criterion is one of my biggest renting sections in the store. In the Mood for Love, because it's just wrong not to have it's wrong not to have taken or grasped the first opportunity to upgrade this film ASAP. The Blu-ray came out a couple of years back now. Why I didn't pick it up at the time, I do not know. Obviously, the DVD of this that I can't locate, standard. The DVD of this is a Tartan Video, DVD, which goes back to, I mean, this DVD is almost a quarter of a century old, which is a few years. It needed upgrading. It's been rented like mad, understandably. Good condition. Works perfectly, of course, but to not take the opportunity to upgrade that as soon as possible is criminal. So here it is, One Car Y, In the Mood for Love, Criterion, a little bit late, but here it is. So that's very cool. And another Criterion that someone asked me for, I think it might have been Kai, which was Beasts of No Nation. So yeah, I wanted to get this in. And here it is, because, as I say, Criterion is one of my biggest renting sections, so it really is an opportunity to try and pick up as many as I can, whenever I can, when the budget allows. One of the biggest renters this year so far has been La Chimera. This film is the previous film by Alice Rohrwacher, and it is Happy as Lazaro. This was requested by Ben. Didn't realize it was available on UK DVD, only DVD, unfortunately. And here it is. So glad to induct that into my Italian section. One of the great things also about expanding horror into the horror section will mean that world cinema can expand by 50%. So the two fixtures you see behind me, 1 and then 2, 1 and 2, I'll be able to add a third. So it'll be an extra bit of world cinema, which is great. Because when you go down into the horror section where I'm sitting here, there will be 2 bookcases of physical media either side of you. One will be an extension to world cinema, and the other, I haven't decided yet, but I think it will be devoted to indicator box sets. Because all the indicator box sets are kind of crammed onto the indicator and Criterion shelves, but indicator and Criterion shelves are growing exponentially, that they need more space. So it just seems great to pull those off there, stick them in a really cool box set section here, and also it can take some weight off the box sets from the back there, and people can really get stuck in. So that's my idea. But we shall see. A request from a customer, a retirement home, asked for a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. Unusual not to have this, but it didn't. Zira Mistel and Phil Silvers. But here it is. Directed by Richard Lester, no less. What Richard Lester film did I get in recently? It was The Knack, wasn't it? Yeah. And Michael Cimino film I didn't have for some reason. Customer asked for it. Almost on the verge of going out of print. I thought, well, I best pick this up just in case it does go out of print. And there it is. Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. Didn't have it in. Weird oversight. Still coming up with them. Still happening. While I'm here, one of my customers had an accident with a disc. Yeah. Let me get the box. Yeah, this is the film. Like, this film will probably rent out once every 4 years. But still, it is part of the collection, and I would like to have a replacement. It's Susan's Plan, a John Landis film starring Dan Aykroyd and Billy Zane. It's not a particularly good film, but I have every John Landis film, and it just seems to be... I wouldn't want to get rid of it completely just because the customer had an accident and snapped it in two. So we looked on eBay. There's one on eBay for £90. Who would pay £90 for Susan's Plan? If anyone watching happens to see a copy of Susan's Plan in a charity shop or CEX or car boot sale or anywhere like that, let me know. I'll pay good money for it. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Keep your eyes peeled, lovely viewers. So if you see a copy of Susan's Plan, my copy has been sadly damaged by a customer accidentally. I might add, very good customer, nice guy. And he was mortified. He was absolutely mortified. And yeah, so if you see one anywhere, please let me know. That would be fantastic. Thank you. So that's those What's in the Box. Now, the big What's in the Box, of course, is Vinegar Syndrome Arrival. Didn't think I ordered that many. Now, Vinegar Syndrome, as you well know, as I've said in the past, is going through a bit of a strange period at the moment, where they seem to be releasing more mainstream films. I don't know the ins and outs of this. All I can ascertain is that one of their key guys, Brad Henderson, decided to leave a year, 18 months ago, maybe 2 years. And he went to run TerraVision with its owner. He's the main acquisitions guy, main film guy at TerraVision. TerraVision are releasing some very good films, some great Vinegar Syndrome style films, really niche stuff. They just announced a wonderful double edition 4K UHD / Blu-ray release of Gator Bait with Claudia Jennings, who once dated Gary Graver. Mega. I mean, every television film I get in is a momentous moment because they are slowly becoming one of the essential labels. Anyway, so Brad left Vinegar Syndrome. Another gentleman called Justin has since become more prominent at Vinegar Syndrome. His letterboxd describes him as creative direction at Vinegar Syndrome. Interesting. So maybe he's behind the reason to go a little bit more mainstream. His own label that he manages through Vinegar Syndrome, Cinematograph, has just released Drop Zone. You know, case in point, Dirty Work came in. Dirty Work is a fun comedy. Norm, the late great Norm Macdonald, 78 minutes. R.T. Lang is in it. Don Rickles is in it. Chevy Chase is in it. Chris Farley is in it. It's good fun. I don't want to do Norm Macdonald an injustice, but it's an Adam Sandler film, but slightly funnier. Why this has got a 4K release, I do not know. Why it's got this lavish booklet, hard case, slipcover release, I do not know. It is strange because you kind of pay your subscription, which I pay to Vinegar Syndrome, and you're in their hands for 12 months. You're in their hands. Whatever they release, you get sent. And it's £1,000. It's a grand, which is fine. It works out well. I get good discounts off partner labels and free shipping. But when stuff like this comes out, you think, I'm not sure about this next year. I'm not sure about this because if this would have come out and I didn't subscribe, I would not have bought this, really, because I couldn't justify spending $35, $40 for a bang average comedy. But hey, having said that, it was great to watch Jade this week, the William Friedkin film, the William Friedkin catastrophe that bombed at the box office in 1995. I like this film. I think it's great. This edition also has William Friedkin's own director's cut, which spices up the rumpy pumpy and things like that. And I like it a great deal. I hate using the word trashy, but it is the perfect B movie. And I like Caruso. I think he's a good actor who made some bad decisions. And this wasn't one of them. It's a really good movie. And if you are 4K UHD capable, then I would urge you to rent Jade. It's good fun. Another one from Vinegar Syndrome, The Dark Half, George A. Romero, another 4K UHD. It's not the best Romero. It's not the best Stephen King adaptation. It's okay. But it also has a perfectly adequate Blu-ray from Eureka. Yeah, but there we go. However, this is quite exciting. Let's Scare Jessica to Death. Been after this one for a while. A few customers have been after it for a while. John D. Hancock directed it. It's very good. I watched it last night. It's a very good, very atmospheric. It looks phenomenal in 4K UHD. Haven't been able to say that very often, but this is one of the films that I saw on 4K UHD, and I thought, oh, yes, okay, I kind of get it now. That looks spectacular, and it does look spectacular. So as Let's Scare Jessica to Death. Now this I really did enjoy. I missed out on this when it came out because it was a silly, silly price. It's still a silly, silly price. It's something like $50, which is ridiculous for two films that were bargain bin essentials back in the day. Again, on 4K UHD, it is the double bill of Freeway with Keira Knightley, Kiefer Sutherland, and Reese Witherspoon, and Freeway 2 with Natasha Lyonne. Freeway 2 is a masterpiece. This set is worth it just for Freeway 2, which I just think is an unhinged masterpiece. Both directed by Matthew Bright. I think they're both very, very good movies, and I'm really pleased to have this set in, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous set. That is Freeway 1 and 2, both in on 4K UHD. I had Killer Condom on DVD, but DVD isn't good enough for Killer Condom. We need 4K UHD for Killer Condom, and here it is. A rather gaudy slipcover in here, which is wonderful. And obviously there we go. So yeah, again, one I missed out on, but it was discounted quite favourably, so I thought I'd pick to this. And same with this, really. Sugar Cookies, film that I've never seen, but it stars such amazing people. Mary Woronov, who I love to bits for her work with Paul Bartel, and also Lynn Lowry is in this as well. Perhaps surprisingly, it was produced by Lloyd Kaufman and also written by Lloyd Kaufman. It was one of Vinegar Syndrome's very, very early releases, but for some reason it just eluded me. But there it is, it's now in stock at Snips, and I couldn't resist this. Who could? Showgirls is in on 4K UHD, finally, because I have it on DVD. Ideally, I'd like it on Blu-ray, but this 4K UHD will suffice perfectly. And there we go. Showgirls, Paul Verhoeven film on 4K UHD. Onto the partner labels. Volume 2, did you see Volume 1 of this? It's good fun. This is the Scare Films Archive, Danger Stories. These are, these are wacky. These are, those educational films. We used to get them here, like the Green Cross Code Man. It's just a compilation of the weirdest public safety films that you could ever imagine, all preserved from original 16mm prints, all inflicted upon children in classrooms across America. They date from 1951 through to 1982. The duration of this is 4 hours and 48 minutes. We have sentient flames, we have rebellious bicycles, and we have workplace dismemberment. What more could you want? But yeah, I'm not a fan of the trailer compilations from Agfa, but these compilations I do like. That's Danger Stories, Volume 2 from Agfa, the American genre film archive. Important film, Bent by Sean Mathias. Long been around on DVD, not so much on Blu-ray. Here it is. It's in from Film Movement. Film Movement, one of the Vinegar Syndrome partner labels. The film stars Clive Owen, Ian McKellen, and Mick Jagger. There we go. That's Bent. I've got this on DVD. But you couldn't resist an upgrade. It's so much fun. It is The Soul Tangler. The Soul Tangler, where madness and death were only the beginning. It's out now from Bleeding Skull on Blu-ray. He is an unusual character. This is directed by. This is a film called You Are Alone. It's a film directed by a guy called Gorman Bechard. I had a run-in with Gorman Bechard's wife a few months back because I wrote a story. Gorman Bechard used to do a few bits for Charlie Band back in the day, back in the late 80s. He did a spectacularly awful film called Galactic Gigolo, which I tried to avoid at all costs. And I think there were 2 others as well. And I wrote a piece about him because out of all the people that Charlie Band has worked with in his entire career, Gorman Bechard is the guy that hates him the most. And he actually threatened to kill him at one point. And you can quote him on that. He is a bit of a crazy cat. But anyway, he did all these full moon films and stuff like that. Empire Pictures films at the end of the 80s. Took a little break. And he came back and did a load of quite impressive art house films. But all people seem to talk about is his work with Empire and Charlie. But yeah, this is one of his impressive arty films. This one dates from 2006, I think it is. It sounds great. It's a haunting exploration into how far a man and woman will go to escape loneliness. Yeah, there we go. You Are Not Alone. That's an on Blu-ray from Saturn's Core, one of my favorite labels. Nick Mallard's film Crazy, Criminally Insane was put out by Vinegar Syndrome a few months back in a double bill. But Criminally Insane 2 is now out, courtesy of the Vinegar Syndrome partner label To Go Save Video. A bit of a retread of the first one with a lot of spliced in footage. I don't know how it compares to the original, which was made 13 years prior, 17 years prior, 13 years prior. But still, it is now in stock, and finally, from ETR Media, who do put out some great documentaries. They did a great video store documentary. They've released this, Satan Wants You. This is a great documentary. This is all about the satanic panic that rippled through America in the 1980s. It all stemmed from a book called Michelle Remembers. It was a memoir by a psychiatrist and his patient, Michelle, which relied upon recovered memory therapy. So this woman was given recovered memory therapy, and she said that she was, abducted by baby stealing Satanists and abused and all this kind of thing. And this book, the knock-on effect from this book was huge in 80s America. And this tells the story of that. It's a gripping documentary, really, really well made. And I urge you to watch it. Satan Wants You. You know it. And there we go. There we go. That's all this week's releases. This week's newbies. I hope that's been of some use to you. And let's take a quick look at the comments, and then we'll be on our way. Then we'll be on our way to moisturize and care for my fingers. What do we got then? What do we got? So we have a lot of suggestions for the horror section, which I appreciate. We have got The Horror Crypt, says Matt Goebel. Room of Horrors, says CW. The Horridor, says James Allen. Nightmare Alley, like that, Richard Brown. The Terror Zone, Paul Griggs. The Video Dungeon, Ed Doyo. The Pit, says Dalbongo. Hall of Horror, says Jonah Fish. Horror Hall, says Villain. Room 666, says Tom Jolliffe. And Pete Walker Room, says Corey the Third. Rather niche. I can imagine a load of people walking in. Who's Pete Walker? Who's Pete Walker? Who's Pete Walker? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I still need to get the signage sorted, which is I'd like to have that sewn up in the next few days, but yeah, I don't know. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for all your suggestions, but I just don't know. I'm favoring something incredibly basic, which is just horror and an arrow. Flashing arrow. Horror. Arrow. Flashing. I don't know. We'll see. I'll mull it over. But thank you anyway. Thank you for trying to inspire me into something unique and individualist. And I've since abandoned you all and decided on something fairly inane. But thank you anyway. I appreciate it. And thanks for your comments. There's some good comments this week. Lee Marn says that he's not much of a found footage fan, but he rather enjoyed Frogman. Frogman's out lonely, and a few people went after it as well. So it's cool that it's getting some attention. I thought it was a good film. Paul Griggs mentions that Kevin Smith has been touring Dogma around the US, which is great. It's good to have it seeing it. It's good to see it having a second life, and I can't wait for it to hit Blu-ray and inevitably 4K UHD. Indie Phantom Sofa Cinema says the new horror space looks cool. He suggests the name of Horror Haven, Horror Corner, Horror Escape Room, Horror Escape. But yeah, we shall see. He says maybe the genre room, but genre could be Western, genre could be Comedy, so it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. But we shall see. We can rebuild him. He said he went to see In the Lost Lands, the Paul Anderson film that came out last week, in the cinema. He describes it as being dumb fun, as expected, if a bit distractingly ugly. That's a shame. That's a shame. I'm proposing a drinking game for your subscribers. Take a drink whenever Dave takes a drink from his mug. I reckon anyone would be smashed within the hour. Maybe. Paul Berryman, the updates are coming along very nicely to the backspaces. But it won't be a backspace, it will be an integrated space. Love that this show shows how the store is evolving, not only in films, but the audience, customers, and layouts. That's important. It's important to bring you in. So many people watch this who can't get here. So it's good to have a little window into what's going on. It's interesting. I think it's interesting. There's only 4 of us left in the UK. It's only a handful. And no one else is doing this. No one else is giving you a window into how it works and the mechanisms and the thoughts and the detail. And it's probably too much information, to be honest. But it's good fun. And, how long will this place be here for? We don't know that, really, do we? We don't know. So I think it's just important to be I like transparency, just in life in general. It's one thing we're getting less and less of, especially in politics and things like that. Less and less transparency. So it's good to pull in the opposite direction and give more and more transparency. And I get a lot of emails from people saying, "Well, I'd like to do this." And then, well, do it, but watch this so you can see what goes into it and what the decisions are and what makes a kind of week's trading and things like that. So if this helps other people do this, I think it's impossible to set up from scratch. Unfortunately, I think if you were to set up from scratch, you would need, if you didn't start with 10,000 titles, I don't think you'd stand a chance. Someone actually posted the question in one of those weird Facebook groups, the Video Store Back Rooms, which is full of very interesting people. Some of my customers who are lovely, but it's full of some other very interesting people. And someone raised the question, could someone run a movie rental store in 2025? Well, obviously, people can, but it's amazing the answers that people came up with and the reasons why and stuff like that. But try and track that down on that horrible app if you're in the group, because it is full of bizarre answers and queries and some positivity as well, Anyway, John Young says he gave up on Enemy Territory coming out a few years ago. And he bought the VHS just so he could have it. So he's made up that it's coming out on Blu-ray from Arrow Video in August. Doyo says the Video Dungeon is looking very nice. It reminds me of some of the video shops of my youth. Hope to see it in person someday soon. You've inspired me to redo my own shelving this year, as it sorely needs doing. I've had the shelves made and oiled them, and now I just need to take out the old shelves and fit the new ones. Wish me luck. You have luck. But you saw the video that we inserted before, and you can see that it's easy. Even a mug like me can do it with some degree of finesse and accuracy. That's about it on the comments this week. So thank you all for your suggestions. Let's see how we do in the next week. Like I said, I've got a busy weekend coming up on the side hustle, so I can't do, hands are tied, can't do anything until Monday. But hopefully Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if I have a good 3 days, then we can get all the building work done and be ready to paint on Thursday. If I can do that, I will be absolutely over the moon. That could mean the horror section might be open 2 weeks today. I think that's ambitious. So it might be 3 weeks today. But we're not far off. We are not far off, and it's very, very exciting. Thank you for following me on this journey to do it. It's been good fun. And it's even more fun when you do it with other people. That sounds problematic. But you know what I mean. When you got other people joining you to give suggestions and give advice and give help and give tips and praise and negativity. It's all part of the conversation, which is great. Right, I'm going to leave you in peace. I've got some hoovering to do with wood chips and all that kind of things. I'm going to do that and get off home. And yeah, I will probably, well, a good chance, to be honest. I will see you in 7 days' time.